constructing a future both sustainable and prosperous for businesses on a global stand. An AI evangelist, a responsible AI subject matter expert who collaborates with global research communities such as Stanford University, NASCOM, World Economic Forum, NIST, responsible AI institutes, and others to exchange ideas and thoughts for establishing robust, responsible AI frameworks for solutions. We are extremely delighted to have Ms. Tanushri Dey as our special guest on the final day of second edition of two-day international conference on artificial intelligence towards fostering sustainable development in business 2023. We extend a very warm and hearty welcome to you, ma'am. Adorned with the abundant wealth of experience and technical expertise in MNCs like IBM, GE, Information Resources Inc., First American Corporation, she now graces the position of Managing Director at Accenture. She leads Trustworthy AI Center of Excellence, which she has built from the ground up. She provides technical thought leadership to a team of AI practitioners in designing, developing, and productizing novel, trustworthy AI-powered solutions for cross-industry applications. Holding specialized academic degrees from the prestigious University of Calcutta, Ms. Tanushri Dey is focused on research and innovation in the areas of explainable AI, AI for sustainability, algorithmic bias detection and mitigation. She has published technical papers on explainable AI in reputed peer-reviewed journals by IEEE, Elsevier, and Springer. She has also published a white paper on a framework building trustworthy and actionable AI in the very popular online publication portal Towards Data Science. Recently, Ms. Dey was invited by the British High Commission New Delhi to the first UK-India Responsible and Trustworthy AI Working Group session at the Royal Society, UK. It's an honor to have you with us, ma'am. I'd like to invite our beloved HOD, Dr. Umakant, to welcome Ms. Tanushri Dey. I humbly request Ms. Dey to enlighten us with her address. Thank you. Okay, first of all, thank you, Sharmishta, for the introduction. Uh, Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining this session. I'm very happy to present a very relevant topic, responsible AI, and particularly the role of responsible AI in accelerating sustainable development goals. And I would like to thank Jain University Center for Management Studies for inviting me to this esteemed conference and to talk about a topic which is very close to my heart. And I hope I will be able to make this session interesting and engaging. So artificial intelligence is a technology which all of you are familiar with, right? You encounter it in your everyday life, right? When you do a search on the Google or you, sorry, am I audible? So when you do a search on the Google or you purchase a product online, or you book a cab, or even with generative AI, if you want to write a story or a blog, you get an initial draft of it, right? And in all this, there are some machine learning models which are running to give you prediction or some recommendation or even a new content, right? So today AI is all pervasive, right? It is everywhere. And it has made a lot of things convenient for us, right? It's a very powerful technology. And what makes it powerful is speed, accuracy, and scalability, right? So speed, as you all can understand, because if you train a machine learning model or a deep learning model with huge volumes of data and use the trained model for inferencing or doing a prediction, it will give you the results in a fraction of a second. For example, if I take the example of, say, resume screening, a human doing resume screening will take at least 5 to 10 minutes to read through the resume, understand what kind of skills and experience the person is bringing, and then relating it to the job requirement and then scoring the resume. Either it's a good, average, bad, whatever it is, right? Whereas if you train a machine learning system to read through the resumes, read through the JDs, and do a semantic text similarity, right, to score the resumes. And if you use that trained model for scoring new resumes, in that 5 to 10 minutes, you will be able to score tens and thousands of resumes, right? So speed is very important. And today it's not, practical to do a manual resume screen. And this is just one example I've given, right? There are many such examples. Accuracy. Think of, 5 people doing taking the same example, think of 5 people doing resume screen. All of them may not have the same level of competency, right? The screening may not be consistent across all the 5 people. Whereas if you train a system
an AI system to do the job, it will be much more accurate because AI system has learned from huge volumes of data. It has learned the complex relationships and patterns in the data, and that is how it is giving a prediction or a score, right? It will be more accurate. When it comes to scalability, again, I mean, if you have like 10 different job roles, right? For a data scientist job role, you have to bring a data scientist to assess the resumes and screen the resumes. Whereas if you have say a UI UX developer job role, the same data scientist cannot do resume screening for UI UX. You need another person who is into UI UX to do the job. So it's not scalable. Generally, you will have hundreds of job roles. You cannot have hundreds of different people to screen the resumes. Whereas if you train a machine learning model, and in the training data, if you have substantial number of job roles and corresponding resumes on which you train the system, right, it will be able to scale up. So tomorrow, if you have a new job role, you don't have to train the model again with that, right? It has learned the patterns. So it will be able to scale up to any number of job roles and resumes, and it will be able to give you a score, right? So when we build artificial intelligence systems, right, we generally consider the three qualities: speed, accuracy, and scalability. And that makes the system, so powerful, right? But even if the systems are AI systems are so powerful, there are many challenges with AI, and there are many instances real instances, and I will come to that, where we have seen that AI had ethical issues, or it was not safe, or it had inadequate security, right? So as creators of this artificial intelligence systems, we should also consider qualities that ensure safety, security, environmental conservation, and adherence to ethical and social values, right? So we have to design, build, deploy, and use AI responsibly, right? And what do I mean by that? Let me take a few examples, real examples, and these are in the public domain, in the news. So many of you have already come across these incidents. You have heard of these incidents. Say, for example, Amazon's hiring tool, right? It was an AI-powered hiring tool, and it was actually rejecting female resumes for certain technical job roles. And on investigation, it was found that the AI machine learning model was trained on huge volumes of data, which was predominantly of males, right? So the model has learned to give more weightage to the male biased words and relatively lesser weightage to relevant words in the female resumes, which it has not seen during the training, right? So this is a case where AI gave biased decision and it discriminated against the female population. So whenever we build AI, we have to ensure, and if we are building AI for decision making, right, we have to ensure that it does not discriminate an individual or a group of individuals based on their intrinsic traits like gender, race, religion, economic status, marital status, etc. Right? So we have to ensure that the AI gives fair and unbiased decision. So fairness is one of the most important pillars of responsible AI. Another thing about AI is that AI is completely black box, right? The AI models are very complex, non-linear models, and like deep learning, it's a very complex nested non-linear models, right? Where the inputs get combined and recombined through some weights, and it becomes increasingly difficult to understand the complex flow of information that leads to the final outcome, right? So it gives you a prediction, but it does not tell you how it has arrived at that prediction. So for example, in banking sector, right, machine learning models are predominantly used to assess the credit worthiness of the customers. And the score is used to take decision whether to approve the loan or reject the loan, right? Now, if a customer's loan is getting rejected, the customer will definitely ask, right, why my loan has got rejected. And it is not only to challenge the bank, but also, if you put yourself in the customer's shoes, if your loan gets rejected, you would like to know, what action I need to take, right? How should I improve my credit behavior so that, next time when I apply for the loan, I get it, right? That's the reason why a customer would like to know why my loan got rejected. Now, if the bank says that, the artificial intelligence system has given a score which is below the threshold and that's why your loan is rejected, that's not an answer. You have to give a proper reason, right? So we need explainability. So we need explainability for the black box machine learning and deep learning models, right? Another thing is, to trust this model and deploy in production. Even the bank manager is only getting a number from these models, and the number says nothing, right? It just tells you it's a high number, high score, or low score. That's it. But beyond that, it's not telling you, because two persons' loan can get rejected because of low score, but the reason may be different, right? So you need to understand how the model, what are the reasons for the prediction, how the model has made the prediction, to deploy it and to build trust in the model. So there are two things. One is why explainability is critical. One is to build trust in the model, and the other is to take downstream action in business applications. Another example could be, say you are predicting machine failure, right? So that you can take some preventive action in advance, right? So that the failure doesn't. Now the model gives you a prediction that, machine will fail in the next 48 hours. But it does not tell you why. But you need to know that why part to take the right action. You need to know what action I need to take. Your whole purpose, whole goal of doing the prediction is not just for the sake of doing prediction, but your ultimate goal is to take action on time so that the failure itself doesn't happen, right? So explainability is very critical to it, because explainability should guide, downstream actions in the business applications. So it's a very important pillar of responsible AI. Next is data privacy, and I hope many of you have heard of that incident. Facebook, it trained a model to predict the suicide. It trained a suicide prediction algorithm, tendency to suicide, and it used the mental health records of people without taking their consent. So it's completely a privacy breach. So when we are building machine learning models, since machine learning models are built on huge volumes of data, there are a lot of features in the data, and there is every possibility that there will be personally identifiable information or confidential information. So you have to ensure that the model does not learn those information. The model does not give a decision or prediction based on the personally identifiable information, right? So when you are training a machine learning model, you have to look into the data, identify the PII information, mask it, encrypt it, do something, and then train your model. So data privacy is very, very important when you are building a AI model. Robustness. So when you are using AI for very high risk use cases, right? Either in healthcare or use cases like facial recognition. And if that is used for policing by the police department, right? So it happened that AI was used to develop a facial recognition system, and it incorrectly recognized a Black person and got him arrested. And this again happened because the data on which it was trained was predominantly white people's data. So the model has not learned the features of the Black people properly. Right? Again, I mean, it's a very, very sensitive use case. You're playing around with the fundamental right of a person, the right to freedom. And so for high risk use cases, you have to ensure that the system is very, very accurate. It's very robust. And when I talk about robustness, it's not only accuracy, but it also means how robust the model is to withstand adversarial attacks. If there is any adversarial attacks, right? If somebody tries to hack the system to change some of the parameters so that he wants to see a certain output for which he's changing some of the parameters, the model should not get tricked to give out incorrect information or or give out some sensitive or PII information, right? The model should be very, very robust, and especially for high risk use cases. So robustness is another very important dimension of responsible AI. Last but not the least is accountability. If the AI model fails, who will be accountable for that? Who will be held responsible for it? Somebody has to be, right? You cannot put an AI system behind the bar, right? So taking an example from US judiciary, where AI models have been used for recidivism prediction. Recidivism means, criminal defendants' probability or likelihood to re-offend, to recommit the crime. And in US judiciary, they use this kind of AI systems to take decision whether to release a criminal on parole or not, right? And it was found in 2016, there was a study which compared the score given by the system, AI system, with the actuals, and they found that the AI model was predicting higher risk of recidivism for Black people when they were actually not, and relatively lower risk of recidivism for white people when actually they were more. So here, I mean, if you think of it, the judge should be accountable. The judge, when the judge is using an AI system, using it is not a problem because it augments the judge's intelligence, judge's decision, right? So using it is fine, but the judge has to ensure that the system gives fair and unbiased decision. The system has explainability. It did not have explainability. If it had explainability, then the judge would have known that how it is giving the score and would have known that it's not, it has not learned correctly, it has some bias, right? So the judge has to ensure that the system has explainability, it is giving fair and unbiased decision, it is robust, right? And at the same time, the developer who has developed the AI model should also be held responsible, right? While he or she is developing the AI model, should ensure that at every stage of the model building, should look into all these aspects and ensure that the model is fine, right? Now, if I see all these 5 dimensions of responsible AI encompass the ESG criteria, the environmental sustainability, social equity, and governance criteria that is used to measure sustainability and responsible business practices of companies, right? And how I'm just explaining with some example. Environmental sustainability, as you all know, is about minimizing the carbon footprint, reducing pollution, and then preventing global warming and reducing waste, doing waste management. These are all like environmental sustainability. Now, if I take one example of reducing carbon emission and reducing pollution from the transport sector, say for example, on the roads where there is very heavy traffic and cars are, vehicles are waiting at the signal. If you think, I mean, all of you drive, right? Most of the times we don't switch off our car, right? If we are waiting if there is a long queue, heavy traffic, and the signal is red, we just keep it like that, right? We don't switch off the car, and that consumes a lot of fuel and it emits a lot of carbon dioxide. It pollutes the environment. Now, if we can, and the signal is, most of the cases, the signal has some timer. It will be like 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever, right? But if we can create a, optimize the traffic signal, right, based on heavy traffic or low traffic, then the waiting time will reduce, fuel consumption will reduce, carbon emission will reduce, right? And how we can do that? We can leverage AI to do this. If we put some video cameras at the traffic signal, which captures the image, and then we use deep convolutional neural network models, right, to read those images and do a classification of heavy traffic, low traffic, and even ambulance, means emergency vehicles like ambulance or fire brigade. Because if you can capture that there is an ambulance behind a huge traffic, you can keep the green signal on till the ambulance passes, and you can save life, right? So this is an example where we can leverage AI, and we have to leverage it responsibly. Means the AI model should have explainability, so that in the control room, the police can check when there is an accident detected, or there is an ambulance or heavy traffic, whether it is actually so, if whether the model is able to predict correctly or not. For that, because again, this is a high risk use case, right? Similarly, coming to social equity, I have given the example of the resume screening. Now, if you think, for social equity, which means equitable treatment of customers, there are many use cases where we are taking decisions, right, for giving access to education, healthcare, etc., where we can leverage AI, and we have to ensure that the AI gives fair and unbiased decision. So fairness is related to social equity, even robustness. And when it comes to governance, it is all about risk management, and it is all about adherence to ethical, principles and ethical business values, right? And so here, accountability, I have already given you one example. So accountability of AI systems, right, is directly linked with the governance criteria of sustainability. So if we look into all these sustainable development goals, in most of the areas, there is huge application of AI, right? And in most of these, we have to use AI responsibly, right? Now, we have spoken about explainable AI, and why we are stressing on the fact that we have to use AI responsibly. We have to have explainability for AI. Let me explain you with an example. So here, basically, there was a AI model, machine learning, deep learning model, which was trained to classify dog and wolf. And scientists came up with some methods for generating explanation. And and this model was fairly good, right? It was fairly accurate. But when they used the explanation method to see how the model has learned, they came to know that the model has not learned the features of the wolf or the dog. What it has learned is that a wolf stands on snow and a dog stands on grass, right? See, this is the picture of a dog, a husky on snow. right? And it predicted it as a wolf because it has learned that, wolf stands on snow. The explanation, all the pixels are around the snow. There is no husky in that explanation box, right? So if you supply an image of a wolf standing on grass, it will predict it as dog. So here you see, I mean, even the model showed a good accuracy. It is not generalizing on new data because it has learned in a wrong way. Similarly, in the below example, this one was classifying football and basketball. It was doing a good job in predicting football. But on, when we generated the explanation, we saw that it has learned, it is able to tell that this is football based on the body parts, not based on the ball, right? Similarly, basketball, it's predicting based on the basket, image. So if you put a football inside a basketball, it will predict it as a, as a basketball incorrectly, right? So, and think of it, I mean, in these use cases, it really does not matter whether it gives you a right prediction or wrong prediction, but same model when you are using in healthcare, in medical, in say radiology, think of the criticality, right? If AI in radiology gives you this kind of things, right? So let me explain you. So we developed some models, for COVID-19 classification, for polyp segmentation, and I'll show you how so that it becomes more clear. So we developed, I'll show you an example. This is basically the pipeline that you are seeing. We collect the data set, we do exploratory data analysis and some pre-processing. Then we build custom deep learning models, basically through transfer learning. So there are some pre-trained models which we adopt and we train it on the use case data, basically freezing some of the initial weights and training the final layers, right? That is how we use transfer learning with the pre-trained models. So for this, and then we generated explanation from every layer of the deep CNN model. So here, what we, for polyp segmentation, we trained a deep CNN model with feature pyramid network architecture. And so this is the image of a polyp. And with that trained model, right, we predicted whether the model predicted whether it's a polyp or not. And how the model was trained, the data was like we are supplying the MRI scan image and along with it a masked image, right? The mask is around the polyp area. And we are training the model with this kind of data. So for every case, there is the original MRI scan image and a masked image. And the model is basically predicting the mask. So here you can see that the model has correctly predicted the mask, right? So we have a, just a minute. How can I keep the pointer? Present the view. Or it's okay. Yeah, going back to this problem. So it is giving the mask as okay. No, not pinned pointer. Okay, I'm going to. Yes, so yeah, so this mask basically is given out as a prediction, and you can see that it has predicted correctly. Now, so in this image, basically we are showing the explanation for this prediction, how the model has predicted. So we are generating visual explanation, and that is about where the pixels are attributing to understand that it's a poly. So there are some initial encoder layers. So in this first encoder layer, as you can see, the model has encoded the entire image. All these red dots that you are seeing, these are all encodings, right? Entire image it has encoded. In the next layer, it is going deeper and it is encoding certain features in the image, right? In higher layers, it is going even deeper. So it reduces the dimension of the image and it goes deeper. And think of it, a radiologist will not be able to, analyze in such details, pixel by pixel, right? So it goes even deeper. And in the third encoder layer, you see that it has even encoded. If you see here, there is a dent kind of this thing, right? It has encoded that. So it is trying to learn every bit of the image, right? It has also encoded this portion where there is some reddish, as you can see, right? So now when we look into the decoder layer, if you see, it has all the pixels are attributing on the polyp zone, right? This is the first decoder layer. And then in the second decoder layer, it is further concentrating on the location of the polyp, right? It is covering almost the entire polyp. Third decoder layer, and in the final attention head, if you see, all the pixels are attributing to the entire polyp zone. So this shows that the model has learned properly. Now, if we see that the pixels are attributing to other areas of the polyp and still it is able to predict that it's a polyp, then there is some problem. It will not generalize on any new data, right? But here, now we trust this model because we see that the pixels are attributing to the location of the polyp for the model to understand that this is a cancer polyp, right? So AI in radiology is very prevalent these days, especially in US. And what we have seen is that the number of scans have increased extensively all over the world, whereas proportionately there are not so many radiologists. And if a radiologist will do this job, then radiologists will take cases as it comes in a queue, right? So if a radiologist is analyzing, say, 10 cases in a day, right? And the 10th case is actually very critical. It's a positive case. But that person's case will come after the first 9 cases. But with an AI model, in a fraction of a second, it will give all the scores. And you can prioritize the cases which needs immediate doctor's attention, which needs to be treated faster, right? So that way, AI is so beneficial in radiology, but at the same time, we are saying it has to be, explainable. It should not have any bias. So in this case, the bias may happen if it is able to identify in certain cases it is not. So like that. So and with explainability, it will help so finally we are not saying that it's going to replace the radiologist. Radiologist's job will still remain because the final report the radiologist will only write, right? But it will augment the radiologist. It will speed up the process. It will prioritize the critical cases. And the explainability will help the radiologists also to understand. It's like a second opinion, right? And also in many cases, if it is a very small polyp, a very small tumor, a radiologist may miss out. But since deep learning model is doing pixel by pixel, I mean, there is a high chance that the model will not miss out. So it's very, very beneficial. I thought to take one generative AI because you are hearing a lot about generative AI and large language models. So thought about taking another example. And this is from education sector because education is one of the biggest sectors for sustainable development, and especially access to education. A lot of people in our country or across the world do not have access to education. So one thing is about building schools and colleges that anyways the government has to do. But then the other aspect is there is a wealth of resources on the internet, right? And many people do not have the money to buy, several books and all, but a lot of it is available on the internet, which they can access. And also a lot of books, a lot of tutorials, good tutorials can be created from these books and from various resources that are on the net. And what do I mean by that is we can use AI and generative AI to create, training videos, to create tutorials which people can access. And also, a lot of people may not, even if they have access to the internet, they may not know English language. Most of the content on the internet is in English language, right? And they may not know the language. So we can use generative AI to do translations, right? Humanly, it is not possible to translate every content on the internet or even some tutorials, right? So we can use generative AI. And this is a generative AI pipeline just to give you an idea as to how it can be done very fast, right? So generally, when we create training material, if I want to do a training video, first I need the content, right? So I will read several books, several materials, understand the topic, then summarize it, right? And then I will, record it. And this entire process takes a lot of time. Whereas if you train a AI model, what you can do is that you can take all the sources, you can take different books, different, content material, and you can provide, and those books will have a whole lot of topics, but you want for a particular topic. So you can give those source documents and a list of topics. And then you can use a content extractor. So basically this is a semantic text similarity model, which runs to do the semantic text similarity between the content that you have given and the source documents. And it will extract chunks of information from these documents. So here we quickly developed an application where we used a Python library called Haystack, but you can also use vector databases, right? And then once you get the chunks of information, you pass it through a GPT model, right? And the GPT model will summarize it in a very human interpretable, very easy way, the way a teacher explains concepts or theories, etc. In that very simple language, it will summarize. GPT will summarize for you. But then again, because the GPT models, the large language models, have learned from data all over the internet, it has picked up a lot of bias and toxic language, because all over the internet there is good content, there is bad content also. There are lots of biased views, there are hate speeches, and so on, right? So the large language models have learned this. This is a very big risk with large language models, which has bias and toxicity risk, giving out bias and toxic output. So we have to have an AI moderator over here. So the AI moderator will take the summarized content, and then you can have a model like, we have developed a model for detecting bias and toxicity, and we have developed another model for mitigating bias and toxicity. So you can use such models. There's some models in the open source as well to, clean up the summarized content. And now you want to translate it into different languages. So you can use again a GPT model. GPT model is very powerful. It has the capability to translate from one language to another. You can translate to various languages. And then you can again use a generative AI model to convert the text to speech and create the audio files, right? In this case, we used AWS Poly, but there are various other options. And then once you have the audio files, you have to create the video of it, right? You can choose some personas and you can do a lip syncing and hand and body movement and create the video. That is how the training video got created using generative AI at various stages of the life cycle. And this whole process will take much lesser time than a human creating a training video. And this can be made available to people who do not have access to education. And through this, they don't have to buy several books and go through it. You can create tutorials using the best of every books and create this kind of solutions, right? So I think already overshoot the time. Okay. So I mean, in all this, all these examples, what I mentioned, when we are building AI, as I mentioned, we have to design, develop, and deploy it in a responsible way. So basically, we have to embed responsible AI at every stage of the AI life cycle. And this is a typical overarching architecture which I came up with to explain it. So everything starts with data, right? Without data, you cannot build AI. So data is the core for it. It can be in tabular format, textual, speech, video, audio, etc. Now, in the first, you have to ensure that the data quality is very good, because otherwise it will be garbage in, garbage out, right? So you have to ensure that the data is unbiased, the data does not have any outlier, anomalies. There you are applying the principle of the fairness principle of responsible AI to balance the data. If there is underrepresentation of certain subgroups, sensitive subgroups, you have to, there are techniques to do oversampling, undersampling, etc., to balance the data. If there are anomalies in the data, there are ways to mitigate those anomalies. And there we use AI also. So it is not always that AI needs data, data also needs AI, right? And once we have a very good quality of data, we train the AI model and we ensure that the AI model has fairness, robustness, explainability, right? We embed this in the, so what I'm trying to say is that responsible AI should not be an afterthought. While building the AI only, we have to embed it. So in the model, we embed all this, and then we do a risk assessment of the model. If it passes the risk assessment, then we certify it as a responsible AI model, and that model goes into the business application. And once it is operationalized, once it is deployed, we have to have a mechanism to track the performance, monitor the performance of the model, because if there is a drift in the model, we have to have a mechanism to track it, right? We need to have traceability of the results. If the performance is dipping, why it is dipping, where the problem is there a drift in the data for which it is, or some problem with the algorithm? So there has to be traceability, and there has to be a feedback loop for continuous learning. Now, in this entire thing, if you see, for training AI models, for doing all this, checks and balances, a lot of compute power is required, right? A lot of energy is consumed in the whole process, right? So when we talk about responsible AI for sustainable development, right? It is not only responsible AI for sustainability, that is AI for good or AI for climate, but it is also about sustainability of AI. Sustainability of AI basically means the reducing carbon emission from training AI. Because for training AI, you need to analyze huge volumes of data, and you need very high compute power, because for training a deep learning model, a lot of complex computations are required, and all this consume a lot of energy, and that leads to carbon dioxide emission, right? And that pollutes the environment. So on one hand, we are saying AI helps, we should leverage AI for achieving the sustainability development goals. On the other hand, we are seeing that AI itself is polluting the environment, right? So we need to do something. I mean, we cannot, today AI is so powerful, it is so beneficial. We cannot say that because it is polluting the environment, we stop using AI. That is not, I mean, that is not correct, because it has huge benefits. But at the same time, we have to also ensure how we can reduce the carbon emission. Now, one thing is basically to use renewable energy in data center. That's a direct solution. We can use think of using renewable energy in data centers. But there are other ways also, because that may also have challenge. In all the places, you may not be able to put up a windmill. There may not be wind. You cannot use a solar energy in every place, right? So there are challenges with renewable energy also. But wherever possible, we should go with renewable energy. But the other thing that we can think of is responsible AI strategy and framework. And what do I mean by that is, since deep learning models are very powerful, we have a tendency to use deep learning everywhere, right? Because it will give higher accuracy, it's good. But then there are many use cases where you may not need to use deep learning. You can do away with machine learning, like an XGBoost model or a random forest model. And that will consume, that's much less compute intensive than deep learning, and it will consume much lesser energy. So you have to see the marginal benefit. If it is marginally, deep learning is marginally increasing the accuracy, then you better go with a less compute intensive model. And that is how we can strategize, we can reduce carbon emission, right? And then a lot of we can also have energy efficient cooling mechanism. And again, there AI will be used for predictive maintenance. And then we have to do a lot of investment on R&D for this how for green technology, basically. So so the role of responsible AI for sustainable development is both responsible AI for sustainability as well as sustainability of AI. So with that, I would like to end this presentation, and thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I don't know whether we have time to take questions.
I think I'm clear that. My question is, how would AI improve gender equality?
Gender equality, yeah. So basically, as I mentioned with the resume screening example, so wherever there is a challenge with gender equality, and if it is an use case where we are trying to leverage AI, we have to ensure that it gives a fair and unbiased decision. And for that, it starts from the data. As I mentioned, AI models learn from the data. We have to see what kind of data we are using to train the system, right? And if there is an imbalance, we have to mitigate the bias in the data, and then we have to train the model. We have to see for algorithmic bias as well. So that is how we can address this problem if we are using AI.
Please elaborate on how AI could be used for developing a training video.
Okay, you want me to go back to that slide?
11 tabs.
Okay, so here what we did, as I mentioned, we used a Python library called Haystack for doing the first part, which is content extractor. So what Haystack will do, it will semantically match the content, the topics that you have given with the content in the books. And it will, because the book will have a lot more topics, right? Not apart from what topics you have given, there are a lot more topics, and you don't need that. You need only those topics. So it will extract the chunks of information from the relevant information from these books. And those relevant information you can pass through the GPT model, GPT 3.5 or GPT-4 model, or you can even use open source, large language models. That's up to you, right? And then and you can give a prompt that summarize on this topic, and you can give more instructions. Prompt means giving some instructions to the GPT model, and then it will do the summarization for you. And then you can check for bias and toxicity using some models, and then you can convert it to an audio, right? Because ultimately you want to build a video, so you have to convert it into audio. And for that, there are certain tools available. AWS Poly is what we use, right? And then you can convert it to a video using GAN model, generative adversarial network, or now, more advanced stable diffusion model has also come. So you can use either stable diffusion or GAN model to convert the audio into video, which will do the lip syncing with the audio as well as the hand and body movement.
Thank you, ma'am, for the enlightening remarks. Your address on responsible AI in accelerating sustainable development goals, decoding of polyp segmentation using AI was truly informative and have paved the way with wisdom and inspiration. The lamps that were lit at the inaugural ceremony have illuminated our treasure of knowledge. Following that golden beacon of light, I'd like to invite Dr. Keshavalupula, convener of the conference, for delivering the launch of the conference proceedings and the concluding remark.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I, Dr. Keshavalupula, stand before you today as the convener of this esteemed international conference on artificial intelligence towards fostering sustainable development in business is officially closing the proceedings. Over the past 2 days, we have embarked on a journey of intellectual exploration, collaborations, and discovery. At this conclusion of the second edition of two-day international conference, I want to express my gratitude to each of everyone who has contributed to the success of this tremendous conference. Our collective efforts have resulted in a wealth of knowledge and insights that are now documented in the conference proceedings. These proceedings represents not only the culmination of our shared experiences, but also a valuable resources for the future researchers. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to all authors who have submitted their work to be included in our conference proceedings. Your dedication and advancing the frontiers of knowledge is commendable, and your contributions will undoubtedly serve the source of inspiration for others in our academic fraternity. With this note, I'm requesting our today's chief guest, Tanushree Day, and our head of the departments, Dr. Umakant sir and Dr. Rupa Teresa ma'am, onto the dais to launch conference proceedings. Yes. I'm requesting Dr. Kiran Mani and Dr. Supriya Rai and Ms. Vaishaki to join with us. I'm requesting Reddies are also to join with us. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yes. As we draw the curtains of this remarkable conference, I'm filled with gratitude and inspiration. It has been an extraordinary journey over all these days. Our theme of the conference, Artificial Intelligence Towards Fostering Sustainable Development in Business. The selection of this title is not randomly chosen, because we, the conference team, had multiple meetings and had lots of discussions on the contemporary issues of today's business world. With these meets, we understood AI, artificial intelligence, is not normal, it is actually a new normal. We all know that in the business world nowadays, from manufacturing to the end users, business is actually combined with a lot of domains. And of course, all these domains actually going with artificial intelligence. With this urge, we have chosen this title as an Artificial Intelligence Towards Fostering Sustainable Development in the Business World. And of course, we all know that any event, conference, is not actually a single man game show. It's all about the collective efforts of each and everyone, those who are being in the particular team. It's proved again that in the conference, with the help of our faculty community, we have reached both nation and internationally, and we have got almost 135 papers altogether to this presentation. And all these 135 papers were presented in 2 different days. And day 1, we have presented in 10 tracks through offline. And today we have done with 5 tracks through online. All these presentations are dwelled into the transformative power of artificial intelligence in reshaping the landscape of business with the keen focus of sustainability. The discussions, presentations, and exchanges of ideas have been nothing short of inspiring, highlighting the immense potential of AI holds in addressing some most pressing and dynamic challenges facing our by real business world. In closing, I encourage each of you to take lessons learned here and apply them in your respective research areas. Let us be the architects for the future where AI aligns seamlessly with the principles of sustainable development. Together, we can build a world where a business thrives, society is prosperous, and the environment flourishes. Thank you once again for your commitment, passion, and dedication to advancing the cause of artificial intelligence towards the sustainable development. Finally, thank you all for being the part of this incredible journey. Safe travel, and until we meet again for the 3rd edition of International Conference in the same campus. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, I'd like to invite Dr. Sachin and Dr. Kiran to join us on stage for announcing the awardees. I'd humbly request Ms. Tanushri De to give away the awards.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. First of all, let us appreciate each and every author, each and every researcher who has contributed to our conference. They definitely deserve a big round of applause. All the winning participants, very happy to share with you. Amit Prakash, research scholar under the guidance of Dr. Lavanya Kumari, Associate Professor, School of Management, CMR University. Title, Strength Lies in Difference, Not in Similarities, Redefining HR Technology to Move Beyond Diversity while Embracing Difference and Elevating from the Engagement to Experience. Can we have Amit Prakash come over the stage, please? The title, Youngsters Continue Intention to Use Smartphone-Based Payment Services, Modifying ECM with Habit and Pre-Adoption Expectancies, authored by Ashik Ali K, research scholar, under the guidance of Dr. Ramesh Kumar Subramaniam, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, School of Commerce and Business Management, Central University of Tamil Nadu. Paper title, Assessing the Growth of Digital Assets and Youth Perception, a Comprehensive Study, authored by Harshini C, research scholar, under the guidance of Dr. Preeti S. Desai, Assistant Professor, MBA Department, Siddhaganga Institute of Technology, Tumkuru. The next best paper award goes to AI Impact over Indian Sustainable Development with special reference to agricultural and IP-ITS industry, authored by Dr. Dinesh N., Dr. Periswamy P., Associate Professor of Finance, Department of Management Studies, Savita Engineering College, Chennai, and Dr. Lakshman K. To encourage the undergraduate students to continue their research interests, we have a special category under the Student Best Paper Award. Influence of trust to develop resilience in agile remote work culture in the new normal, the challenging role of managers to expedite virtual terms transformation by Shresh Shetty under the guidance of Vaishaki, Dr. Richa Tiwari and Ms. Vidya Reddy. The next Best Student Paper Award, Sustaining Print Media and Digital Media, Real Challenge Through Artificial Intelligence, authored by Arya Shushan, under the guidance of Dr. Jesus Milton, Associate Professor, Flavors. Advertising the Evolution of Persuasion, authored by Rohit Sharma, Anshul Dhanuka, Tanmay Arya.
Heading towards the online external presentations, the best paper awards goes to the online presenters. The first best paper award titled The Impact of Ownership Structure on Audit Quality Evidence from India. Prabjot, research scholar, University Business School, Punjab University. The second best paper award goes to the title Role of Dividend with Effect of Share Price Volatility in NSE in India. A case study of Indian Cement Company, an empirical study, authored by Dr. R.S.H. Murthy Chodishetty and Ms. M. Sushmita of the Vardhaman College of Engineering, Samshabad, Hyderabad, Telangana State. The third best paper award goes to the paper titled Enhancing Sustainability in Workplaces with Automation and AI. S. Priyadarshini, the first author, and the second author is Sandhya Sundar, Savita University, Rajlakshmi Engineering College. So these people will be receiving their awards through online, or the hard copies will be sent to them through courier. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanushree ma'am. Thank you, Kiran ma'am. I request Dr. Sachin to address the vote of thanks.
Okay. Thank you is such a prayer that cannot be seen or touched. It must be felt by heart. I feel honored and privileged to get this opportunity to propose vote of thanks on this special occasion. As we have come to an end of the second edition of International Conference on Artificial Intelligence towards Fostering Sustainable Development in Business, I, Dr. Sachin Parapgodar, take this opportunity on behalf of Center for Management Studies and Day-2 University. I would like to take this opportunity to thank few people without whose support the conference would not have been possible. First of all, I would like to thank or express my gratitude to the Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Chandraj Roychand sir, our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Raj Singh sir. My special thanks to Dr. Dinesh Neelkant sir, Pro Vice Chancellor, Jain Day-2 University, Director, Center for Management Studies, Jain Day-2 University, who helped us in obtaining necessary administrative approvals for the organizing of an event in our campus. And sir's office bearers supported us in all possible manners to organize this conference. Thank you very much, sir. At this juncture, I would like to thank our chief guest day one, Anita Scaria George, Vice President India, COE, Country Leader, and Kellon's NESCOM GCC Regional Council Karnataka, for kindly accepting our invitation and gracing the inaugural function. My sincere thanks goes to our today's chief guest, Ms. Tanushree Day, Tanushree Day, Managing Director, Lead Trustworthy, AI Center of Excellence at Accenture Cloud First Advanced Technology Centers in India. Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting our invitation. I thank to our international session resource people, especially Professor Jasa Redek, University of Ljubljana, and Professor Dilip Kumar, the Hansard University, Nigeria. My sincere thanks goes to Jayashree ma'am for shaping all the MCE contents, Chaitra ma'am for the collaboration support, Nishant sir for the refreshment and material arrangements, Tyagraj sir for the payments and bill support, your constant guidance and support in shaping the conference in meaningful way, including Umesh sir for all these banners and posters, whatever we are witnessing. The guy sitting in the room has made the color selection, the alignment. So it was a very tedious task. So we all thank him as well. Now, I would like to thank people behind this program. So let me start with the conveners of the conference, Dr. Kiran Mane ma'am, Dr. Keshavlu Pula sir, who planned and executed this program towards grand success. The co-conveners, myself, Dr. Raghavendra GS, Mr. Baiju Nair, Ms. Sarita SR, and my organizing committee as follows. Trust me, all these people have worked day and night, and it is such a big task inviting and coordinating with so many people, papers, setting them, tracker IDs, then following up. They will be having n number of issues. So a setting up of cameras and ensuring the connectivity is going perfectly. So the name goes like this, Dr. Priya Makhija, Dr. Richa Tiwari, Dr. Supriya Rai, Dr. Rupa KV, Ms. Baisakhi Devnath, Dr. Lakshman K, Ms. Sarita, Ms. Baisakhi, Dr. Seema Sambargi, Ms. Divya Reddy, Ms. Saida Shifa, Dr. Varalakshmi, Ms. Akama CG, Mr. Vivek Gupta, Dr. Jesus Milton, Mr. Santosh, Dr. Asha S, Mrs. Sunil Raghupati Hegde, Ms. Pallavi, Dr. Sana Saima, Mr. Vineet Ravindran, Ms. Preeti K, Ms. Anusha Nadiger, Dr. Shobha Patil, Ms. Mansi Wilkinson, Ms. Sharmishta Bhanja, Gopinath and Yadunandan. So these are the organizing committee members for hosting this 2-day international conference, along with Kiran sir, who has been very much instrumental in delivering the online sessions. I also thank and acknowledge the support of HODs Umakant sir, Rupa ma'am, Sunita ma'am, Reddy sir, Raghu sir, Bhargavi madam, especially for handling the media team, program coordinators, teaching and non-teaching staff, including floor staff and attenders of CMS, for making this conference successful. An event like this dimension cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling months in advance. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of committed, dedicated student coordinators, especially SNL team, who work beyond their contract service. Yes, we calling all those authors and having track of what is the status of their presentation and the technical glitches. So everything was managed, including taking session chairs to the rooms and making them go back through their vehicles was taken care by HNL team of Center for Management Studies. So we are the conference team very much thankful for all of you for such a grateful great gesture by you people. And my special thanks to my international level conference academic partners, Knights, Emerald Publishing, Miles Soba. My sincere thanks to press and media for conference coverage. My gratitude to session chairs who spend their valuable time and evaluate the participants across all tracks. Thank you all. Last, but very, very important, we would like to acknowledge the efforts and contribution of our enthusiastic participants and attendees. Thank you all for showing interest in our conference. On behalf of organizing committee, once again, we thank all of you. This is not an end. We still have publications to proceed. So we will be carrying forward this journey and the documentation of publications. So there are two coordinators, especially for the ISSN, Dr. Keshav Lupula will be coordinating, and for Scopus Publications, please be in touch. So we, the conference committee, conclude this two-day event at this gesture with, I'll be handing over to the MC. Thank you so much, one and all.
A day full of insights, perspectives, and dialogues comes to an end, leaving our minds satiated with thought-provoking contemplations to ponder upon. The conference was enhanced by the notable speakers and respective experts. Our esteemed guests, Anita Scaria George, VP India, COE and country leader at Selenis, Mr. Joseph Yapan, Head Product Management and Technology, XDN Health, Professor Tiasa Redek, Professor at University of Ljubljana, Professor Dr. Dilip Kumar M., Deputy Vice Chancellor and Professor of Business Management at Nile University of Nigeria. They made up an erudite panel for discussion from which we received lifelong lesson. With the final chapter of this enriching conference drawing to a close, our gratitude extends to each cherished participant. In this moment of parting, we bid you a warm adieu. Until next time, see you soon for the third edition of International Conference. Thank you for your attention. Please rise for the national anthem.
I think it has.
I request all of you to have high tea, and I request Ms. Tanushree Dey and our organizing committee to assemble on this
Can you stop
reception
it?
area for a group photo session.